Here's David Shapiro, and he's in the studio on a day when the JSE, well, we looked like we were going to be celebrating until those US consumer figures came out. And confidence in America down, plumbing new depths, and that just tanked our market too.
In fact, we're up about 4% at one stage, and the recovery looked real. It was broadly spread. Commodities were coming up. There's also a lot of traders are betting that US will cut rates tomorrow. I think there are a lot of bargain hunters in global markets looking for cheap stocks. And as you said, as soon as we got that report, things reversed. But I must say that just analyzing the market, what disturbed me was that Anglos and Bulletin came back very, very sharply. They were up quite considerably in the morning session, and then towards close came down quite sharply. And that seemed to pull the market down.
But if the heroic American consumer ain't spending anymore, doesn't want to spend anymore, then Anglo and Bulletin, by definition, must come under pressure. Commodities.
I don't know. Commodities will come under pressure.
Who is spending is Mark Barnes from Purple Capital. Today there was on SENS an announcement that Mark has bought 30 million rands worth of Purple Capital shares. Ronnie Labner, a co-director, has bought, well, even more, 60 million rands worth of Purple Capital shares. Mark's on the line now. From what I was reading through, Mark, you only have like 314 million shares in issue, and you guys have picked up 300 million of them. That can't be accurate.
I think, the numbers are accurate. The numbers that you refer to. After the rights issue, we'll have 715 million shares in issue.
Okay.
So that's after the rights issue. There's a whole bunch of new shares being issued. Yeah.
So are these the shares that you've acquired in terms of the rights issue?
Well, basically we're both following our rights, and then we've both made additional investments over and above what we would have entitled to in terms of our rights.
What would you end up with as a percentage of the company?
Off the top of my head, I think it's a 20-something, and I think Ronnie ends up at 30-something, orders of magnitude. I don't have the numbers in front of me.
But between the two of you, you now have very firm control there, Mark.
Well, we would argue that we have some influence.
What's going on with the bond exchange? We spoke last night with the JSE about the offer. Bond exchange, you've got quite a nice chunk there. Are you going to be accepting the offer?
I think we don't find the offer attractive at all at this stage. I mean, I'm in a situation where I'm not at liberty to discuss the thing much further than that, because we were the advisors, and in fact, we might continue in that role. But I think if one does the simple arithmetic around this thing, you will find that the bond that the offer is, I think it's practically a discount to cash.
That's what we try to get out of John Burke last night, and it seemed to us as though the JSE would be making a very cheeky offer. Nice to have you confirming it. Do other shareholders feel the same way, though?
I must say, the bond exchange has. I'm not allowed to discuss this, and the bond exchange is reserving judgment on this appropriately, I think, and they're going to look at the detail of it. I'm not aware of which shareholders have agreed or not agreed. We certainly don't find the offer attractive at that level.
What percentage of shareholders would need to vote in favour of it, though?
The offer, as I understand it, is they need a minimum of 51%. They'd like to get 90%.
Mark Barnes, Chief Executive of Purple Capital. Well, he's showing confidence, David, in two things in the bond exchange. Interesting to see his view of it, that the offer is too cheap from the JSE. And then in Purple Capital itself, putting lots of money behind it.
It is a lot of money. And hopefully if they have a kitty, there are a lot of opportunities that are going to come in this market, of which he's got, nearly 50% together with Ronnie Labner.
Wow. JSE today, the JSE Limited up 11%, the share price of the company. Guess some people saying, well, if they manage to pick up the bond exchange for cash price, it'll be cheap.
Alec, I think what we're seeing is some bargain hunters coming in. I think there's cheap value around, and it's the second day in a row that we've seen the market starting to emerge from a very low level, and I think these shares are cheap.
Will be the shortest bear market in history.
I hope it is sustainable, and I really mean that. I haven't got the confidence yet to go in, but I'd like to see a couple more days at least trying to form a bottom. But look, there are people out there who believe that that things will move up from here.
They must do their calculation. I'll tell you why. Look at New World, a good example. New World today, 16 Rand 75. Results were out. On an earnings yield, it's 12%. On a dividend yield, 3.5%. That's hardly bottom picking.
That's not, but there are other shares that are. So I think, New World are probably having a particularly difficult time. They've never been a high yielder, but 12% is still.
David, you
no,
want to see New World yielding 8 or 9% dividends.
I agree with you there.
When they're
but
cheap,
you can
but
get
not
3.5. If you go into some of the retailers, you're going to start finding that. You're going to find that in the bank. So you can go through this market even in some of the resource
if their profits
shares.
hold.
If profits hold, sure. Sure, but you've got to be very selective where you go.
And Net One, Applitech, Net One down 25% today. Do you know anything about that?
No, this is the new listing back onto the market,
Yeah.
but I haven't had a chance to go.
We're going to find out
through
all
them.
about those big changes in Renette and the new listing of BAT with Johan Rupert, who joins us in just a moment.